Hi, first and second graders. My name is Abby, and I am hoping you will join me this year in our Grace Kids first and second grade Grace Kids Zoom Sunday School class. Like I mentioned, we're going to be meeting over Zoom, and our class is going to take place before service on Sunday mornings. Now, because I know this is a hard way to meet, we're not going to have class every week. Instead, we'll have 13 fantastic classes that we're going to spread out over the whole year. So in each of our classes, I'm going to share with you a sense of wonder and awe at the greatness of our God, who is a God who remains faithful from generation to generation. We're going to talk about God's love for creation, how God created the world, and then he saved a man named Noah and his family. And along the way, he made some promises to Noah and to us. And then we're going to talk about how God grew his family. We're going to talk about Abraham and Sarah. We'll also talk about some extraordinary plans that God had. We'll talk about a man named Joseph, who was a brother and a dreamer, and then he was a slave, but then he was a ruler. So he had a very interesting story. And finally, we'll spend some time talking about Moses. Moses has an incredible story from when he was just a tiny baby. And God used him to deliver God's people out of slavery in Egypt and eventually to the Promised Land. And on that journey between slavery in Egypt and the Promised Land, God gave his people and you and me the 10 best ways to live. So we'll talk about that too. So as we go through all of these stories that God has given us, we'll be learning about how God has plans to care for us and to protect us. So along the way, we're going to be taking some time each week to study the New City Catechism. We'll be doing this to think more about God and learn about him. By studying the Catechism, we'll be working to build a framework in our hearts and minds of words and ideas and concepts that will help us understand God better. So I hope you'll join me in our first and second grade class. Man, it will be great to see your faces. I'd love to hear how you're doing. We'll spend some time learning together, and we'll also spend some time praying for each other. So again, I hope you'll join me. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.